Welcome to another episode of Not For The Weak Minded. Now it's been a while, it's been 5 days since my last video. I have a lot of content to do, it's just this blueprint and the details in which I'm putting in it, it's taking its time and its toll on me. I have not stopped in 2 weeks. I've done all-nighters, where I've gone all the way through, because I need to get this done so I can do it again, so that I can show you potentially that there is 2 blueprints to draw from the coordinate position grid system of the globe earth model itself. Now the blue ran out, unfortunately. I was using the blue that I was doing with the mandala and the other blueprints, and so it ran out, and so I decided to do a lighter blue so I can actually see things underneath clearer. Now as you can see, I have done a great deal of detail into this blueprint. Before, however, we start talking about it, I'd like to say that this has taken me a long time to get to, and it ain't finished, and unfortunately I've got to do another model, and this is where, before talking about this model, I need to show you another one, which was a progress to get to this blueprint, which was almost right. So I've been almost right for a very long time, knowing that they've mapped the Earth using the perfect circle. It was just getting the method right and then mapping it correct, and it literally drawing the lines, a line drawing like this. So this method takes time, but first of all I'm going to turn around. I'm going to flip the light around. Now this was the one I did before, and again it was half right and half wrong, partly because 0 was going at the center rather than like here on that, like it is on the blueprint behind me, the equator, right? And essentially, if the model behind me is right, then what it proves is that there's 100% land and sea beyond what they've mapped. However, what one must bear in mind is that what is mapped behind me at the far reaches, like right at the top, is the North Pole, which has no landmass and is just a single ice sheet. So my hypothesis is that it might be the other way around, and if that's the case, then one must imagine that Antarctica itself goes around the Earth, and everything which I'll draw, let's turn around again. So everything currently, I need to sit back, I have to zoom. So currently Antarctica's at the center, and it looks to me like a giant tree. Now this alone, as I said, this blueprint proves without a shadow of a doubt that there's land, you know, and sea that I can't map, which is essentially, if you look, the ice sheet that goes all the way around, right? So this is one way to map the coordinate position model using the perfect circle, and finally the correct way to map it. However, if it's the other way around, it proposes something so unreal for so many, even though kind of it's in the programming, in terms of, for example, God being a very giant man in the skies, so to speak. But in a way, the Bible speaks about the giant tree at the center of the earth, and so this model shows a giant tree at the center of the Earth, which is Antarctica. Now, if you know if it's going in the other way around now, by which I mean everything that's been mapped here is going to be on the outside, just like this blueprint here, right, on the bottom. And so, if that is the giant tree at the center of the Earth, it's mind-boggling, because one must know that the Earth is hollow, that you've been lied to about every single thing to do with this Earth, including tectonic plates, volcanoes, earthquakes, because of nature being created, essentially, and them using devices to trick you. So, for example, because the Earth is hollow, they knew that North Korea was doing underground nuclear tests, because they tracked it, so to speak, with sensors. So all the sensors pick up sound vibrations from the Earth. You know this. And yet, many people, if you look, don't know how much work is going on underneath their feet. Because the elite literally have spent 400% increase in bunker building in the last 10 years. Not only that, but you got Elon Musk building, you know, a particle accelerator 3 times the size of CERN in Switzerland, and other things going underneath your feet, and that is triggering the earthquake monitors. It's all deception, people, to get away with mass genocide under the guise of nature, while they hijack it. So, currently, I'm gonna just go back to this bit a minute now, whenever drawings. A lot of truth is being told by the elite on YouTube, on Facebook, channels like Gaia, to convince you of a lie that's been going on for centuries. That lie is to do with simulation. Now, in all honesty, everything they're doing is about emulation. The emulation of the technological creation. And that means emulating you, right? So what are you? Well, you're a physical creation in a physical world, which is part spirit, that has to use his mind to fight for creation, when you don't even know that you're created, right? It's about understanding the duality of this world, and that you yourself are the Holy Trinity, which is based on the principles of space. Real space, you know, that is water, you are water, sound, and in water creates light, for that you are a star. So let me just keep going with these blueprints a little bit more. That everything is based on the perfect circle. There is intelligent design. There is mass evidence of machining in the past, and the Earth has levels. Let's just finish off with this one, and then we'll go back to the other side. So I have done a video about this, but it's either A, that there's another world outside our own, for which we are underwater of that world, or B, we're in simulation, full stop. I'll choose A, even though it's far, far more stranger, far more scarier, let's say, for some, that many people will just believe that they are a hologram simulation rather than a physical creation that's been lied to their whole entire lives about it. Well, they use that knowledge. You know, the pyramid in the all-seeing eye is sacred geometry. The pentagram is sacred geometry. So as this journey that I have taken, it's been very hard. And even getting this right has taken me a long time to not just to create the blueprint, but to then to incorporate all my knowledge into it for a fact that the earth is hollow, for one. You see, you have been deceived massively about everything, and things under the water prove it. It proves that there was a time when things were much larger on the earth, the time of the giants, and the things on which they're living on proved the time of the Titans. The problem is, now, is which way does this blueprint go, and then how and whatever evidence and information can we use to prove if it's blueprint A or blueprint B. I mean, the amount of boats that I've found, ships, shipwrecks, that are twice, 3 times the size of a regular ship, like the largest ships we make today, is unbelievable. They've left marks in the landscape where they have been trashed and thrown into the, well, what we call cliffs today of all coastlines. You know, a lot of islands are actually ships, parts of ships. I will prove this. This blueprint comes with probably 3 brand new theories that prove everything you've been taught a lie. Unfortunately, I'm one man, you know, we're running out of time. 2020 is closely approaching, and people still really aren't aware of the United Nations agendas and how the elite are part of that corrupt system, which is planning to bring the world together under lies, under centuries of lies that so many today believe. So space, one must imagine now that this whole blueprint, however which way it goes, whether it's A or B, goes inside to that blueprint. That space is not forever expanding, that it is water, that water comes from space, and that this is a frequency-based reality created by other beings that were huge, pretty much, in another world. Depending on which way this goes, it's either just mind-bending stuff that you can envision. If that was a giant tree at the center of the earth and then a dome around it, right? One, there's land beyond the, you know, the walls of the dome, the walls of Antarctica, sorry. And secondly, that it makes more sense because the dome needs to be protected. Here you've got an ice sheet, that's not very thick, to be honest, going small around. I mean, who's to stop people going there, man? No one. So my personal opinion is that it's the other way around too. It's hard to know, but I've got to do both to prove which one is eventually. So the mandala is based on understanding angles, pretty much. Straight lines. Energy, light travels in straight lines. So this is about space-time. It takes 3,600 years to go through one cycle, which goes through, in my opinion, the last 10,000 years or so. Two civilizations, where one is based upon truth and prosperity, abundance, 1,000 years of peace, which you don't know about, and then how this civilization and one before it, like Rome and Babylon, used the knowledge of the 1,000 years of peace and prosperity to brainwash the masses and basically enslave all nations under the roof of the devil, so to speak. The devil isn't, you know, it is, in terms of spirituality, alien beings. Demons are alien beings. You gotta know that a temple is just that, and that all souls inside a temple can be good and bad. So aliens did exist in the past, they're still around today, there's still good aliens and there's still bad aliens. Duality. This reality is dualistic, and you are the Trinity. You are the star because your chakras are the rainbow. Today you see the rainbow everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. And the reason why that is because it's promoting, well, first of all showing you a symbol of truth, and at the same time using that to, well, go against creation, right? Because a man is meant to be a man, a woman is meant to be a woman. If we don't procreate, there will be no future. They, unfortunately, have put a massive spell on your mind about the population of the earth itself, to make you think it's okay to have mass genocide around us on all continents. Well, like, you know, Muslim and ethnic minorities get locked up. You know, like people seeking salvation because of our bombs and our corrupt civilization in other countries come into our country to seek their salvation, drowning in the sea, you know, and then making it here and then getting locked up. What is the problem, eh? There. Well, the problem is the world is abundant, and these people have lied to you about it. Absolutely. They want to dominate all life. In fact, they want to eradicate it. Let's say that all things that you see that are organized, mostly, that have mass followings, are of the elite. So Extinction Rebellion is a never hidden symbol in plain sight. People know things are dying because of what? Global warming, not knowing that actually it's geoengineering, and that they've been lied to the whole entire lives about how they even exist. Stupid. You know? It's mind-boggling. The truth is out there. It's been very carefully masked through labels and through other means, but it doesn't mean it isn't out there. I found it. Thousands, millions of people have found it in terms of small pieces of the puzzle. It's about how you put it together. So I've spent a long time trying to put this together, including the blueprint itself. So everything's based on the perfect circle, and unfortunately they're running out of time because the stars are increasing in frequencies, and every 300 years there's a great battle for the morality of the earth and for civilization. Many of you don't know about these things. So awareness is consciousness, and you need to become aware of your common enemy, who has used technologies, the television, which is a military application, to deceive you. All entertainment is there to keep you from looking further at things that you should be looking at. It is a very confusing situation when you realize that you have been lied to, that there is actually a lot of information out there that you have never looked at, and that people within those fields are then trying to deceive you further with that information. You have no idea how bad that deception is upon your subconscious mind. And if you're still thinking, shit, everything I've been taught is right from school, core principles wise, historically, geography, everything is based on a lie. You need to basically rebuild your house, your foundations on truth. What is truth? Well, the truth is the Earth's created, you're created. It's based on the perfect circle, ancient machines. Giants once existed in the past. Geology was once all life. The biblical flood happened. You are the star. This is a frequency-based reality. This is not a simulation. End of discussion. I can prove everything I say. I'm trying to with my small amounts of videos. However, there are so many other better channels out there than me putting it together in a way that absolutely would make you think. Pedro V, you know, Saved by Grace, Hacking the Headlines, loads of channels. Call for an Uprising, Florida Marquee, honestly, loads. Lisa Haven, albeit be careful, I ain't sure about that one. You know, AMTV, again, be careful. There's a lot of them out there that are still using truth and lies even though they don't know it themselves. You get fed information. Everything that's been passed down to the commercial sector has been passed down from the Zionist military since 1917. Yesterday I was watching, it was about Nazis. It was called Weird Nazi something. And essentially they were saying that they were on crystal meth. Peppertine. So the Germans created peppertine, which was crystal meth, to basically enhance their soldiers so that they can go through and do the blitzkrieg through the Ardennes. Right? So these drug problems came from the elites. They created all these drugs, created all the problems. They've used the nations that the plants have come from, like Colombia, you know, and people like Venezuela are still fighting for their people's freedom and liberation against, you know, the corruption of our civilization. How we've manipulated other nations to do our bidding. We've used them, well, and destroyed their cultural heritage. At the same time, their languages, their knowledge. It's you know, cultural assassination. So there's a lot to show about this drawing. For, you know, that it 100% proves, without a shadow of a doubt, that things we're living, you know, where water once was, where water is today. See lakes, harbour, that's definitely a lake, Great Lake. And not only that, but you got things going across the earth that literally are like Nazca lines all over it, and my personal opinion is that that's engineering lines. It's guidelines. Because right over here, there's a massive temple complex, right there, underwater. Ships, you know, that are islands. Like I said, I got 2 new theories for this, probably 3. Slowly, I've got to finish this, I've got to do the other blueprint, and then I've got to put it all together so that you can understand and see as well the evidence for yourself. I mean, tiny England, eh? And Scotland. Ireland's almost as big as England, if not bigger probably, just as. Russia is huge. So's Greenland. So which way does it go? Share, like and subscribe.